You are now in tune with
Mamba Radio.
Alright, what up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into Brown Mamba Radio. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jackson, and happy Monday to everybody out there. Hopefully you're kind of staying dry. It's a little bit rainy out there right now and here in the LA area. So hopefully, like I said, you're staying dry, driving safe, all that good stuff. And hopefully you guys aren't too worn out, aren't too tired, hungover, all that good stuff from that amazingly, incredibly, outstandingly lame Super Bowl last night, which I guess I'm going to get right into everything that happened last week, starting with, of course, the obvious Super Bowl that was last night between the Patriots and the Rams, where the Patriots defeated the Rams in a slobber knocker of a matchup, with the final score being 13-3. And if you can't tell by the tone of my voice, obviously I'm joking. This was easily the most boring, that's for sure. Possibly the worst Super Bowl in modern history. If you go back, obviously, if you're, a history buff, NFL history buff, the worst Super Bowl ever is Super Bowl V. It is properly nicknamed the Blunder Bowl. It is the only Super Bowl where the MVP was from the losing team. And look, it was getting pretty close to something like that happening this year. I'm pretty sure everybody was looking up, was Googling, can the punter win NFL MVP? And it's not even one of the punters. You were thinking both of them, because even though Johnny Hecker set the record in that game for longest punt in Super Bowl history, the guy on the Patriots, I don't even know his name, the guy on the Patriots right now, the guy on the Patriots last night, he punted his ass off as well. But again, easily the lamest Super Bowl in quite some time. And it was a historic Super Bowl, both for good reasons and for the bad. Starting with the good, like I said, obviously the Patriots won last night, and giving Tom Brady and the Patriots their sixth Lombardi trophy. God damn, that's crazy. Tom Brady, his sixth ring, most ever by one player. He passed Charles Haley. A lot of you guys don't even know who Charles Haley is. He was a defensive lineman in the 80s and 90s who won his rings with two teams, the Niners and the Cowboys. But I honestly, say what you want about Tom Brady, he's the fucking GOAT. We all kind of knew it. I talked about it at length, ad nauseum, in my Super Bowl recap 2 years ago when he did what he did against the Falcons. But he's just cemented it right now, like in stone, etched in stone, best football player of all time. And like I said, he's got the rings to do it. He's got the wins to do it. He's got the records to do it. And it's a no doubter at this point. Patriots sixth title, tied for most as a franchise. I think they're tied with Pittsburgh and Dallas all time. 10th appearance, I think, which is the most ever. And then again, longest punt in Super Bowl history by the Rams, Johnny Hecker, 65 yards on that nice, beautiful punt. As a former punter myself back in the day, that was very impressive. So shout out to him. But again, on the flip side, it was just as bad of a game, even worse. Lowest scoring Super Bowl ever. I think I saw it was the last one, or the game where it was wherever Super Bowl it was between the Vikings and the Dolphins in like the 70s. And like I said, they broke that record. It was the lowest rated Super Bowl in like 10 years. I'm going to guess the 10-year one was maybe 2009. So I'm going to guess maybe right before that, because I didn't look it up. I doubt it was the Cardinals and Steelers Super Bowl. I'm thinking it might have been the Steelers and the Seahawks Super Bowl, because that was when it was a pretty mediocre Seahawks team before they had the Legion of Boom and all that, when they had like Matt Hasselbeck, Sean Alexander, and like those guys. I'm gonna guess that game, the one where Jerome Bettis and they had the flea flicker or whatever to Hines Ward and all that. So I'm gonna guess it's that game, and then on top of it, there's no hard evidence, data, or anything like that you need Just this game, the game on the field, plus the halftime show, plus the commercials, all that, probably be remembered as, if not the worst, but just the most boring, underwhelming, lame Super Bowl in modern history. That's for sure. It'll be up there all time as one of the worst ones. Just just not a good game. Just not a good game, and just a very, very uneventful 5 hours of television. So tough game. I mean, but like I said, there was a game that was played, and the best thing you can say about the game was the defense. Both sides, for sure. The defense was great, but this was just truly, truly an offensive game. And when I mean offensive, I mean it was offensive. Not to deal with the offense on the field, but it was just straight up offensive. It was just bad, and like they were just truly awful, and I'm just gonna start with the Rams because might as well get it out of the way. The Rams picked the worst possible time to have their worst ever game under Sean McVay, and it's just, I can't even, it was just bad. It was just bad. We all saw it. We all know what we saw. That was bad. 3 points in the Super Bowl. 3 points. That is it. That's all they got. And it's frustrating. It really is. And it's whatever is more than embarrassing. That's what it was too, because this was the best offensive team in the NFC, second best in the whole league, second best offensive team in the NFC. You look at most of the two big ones I'm using right now, Pro Football Reference with their offensive ranking, they were the number 2 team overall, number 1 in the NFC, and Football Outsiders DVOA, if you know what DVOA is, they were the number 2 ranked DVOA, offensive DVOA. So, like I said, they weren't some slouches. They were kicking ass all year long, but it really came down to, and you hate to really focus on something, but it was always a collective effort and this and that. And Sean McVay even admitted it, that yes, he got outcoached after the game, or after the game he admitted he got outcoached, and he to an extent he truly did. But I think we all know what the issue was with the Rams, and it was something that they had tried to keep they tried to suppress it as much as they could, and they tried to divert it as much as they could, but clearly Todd Gurley is injured, or he's much more seriously hurt than they're leading on, and they're trying to hide it, and I don't blame them. They don't want to give the Patriots any edge, so they tried to do what they just tried to do everything as normally as possible. Like I said, you don't want to give the Patriots, who, not like they need any other edges, but they don't want to give the Patriots of all teams any other competitive advantage that they need. Just so they were trying to prepare for this game and get everyone thinking that everything is fine, everything is exactly the same. Sure, it was in the back of our minds, but I don't think anyone thought it was going to be this bad. And it's clearly, he's hurt to a much higher extent than anyone thought. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting surgery today on whatever it is. It's got to be something it's got to be something that's ruptured, partially torn, some kind of damage like that, like on the meniscus. I'm gonna guess it's a meniscus thing. If I had to put my money on it, and he's in, I wouldn't be surprised if he had surgery as soon as he steps off the plane when they get back in LA or wherever he's going back home to. But the Pats sniffed this out right away. Very clear, right off the bat. As soon as the first quarter going on, you're like, well, first play looked good. Then it was just CJ Anderson back in, and that's it. That was they sniffed it out, and it was over from there. And it was over. That was it. Once the Patriots realized, okay, Todd Gurley is not a threat. We're already game planned against stopping the run, but it's hard to stop against Todd Gurley in the pass game. Once they realized that he was no longer going to be a threat, it was pretty clearly over at that point. And the real best chance that the Rams would have had at really scoring at that point was if their defense came up with something bigger, special teams or something. But it was just tough, man. Really, really tough. And I know the real sacrificial lamb, the real sacrificial goat in this situation and from that game that everyone's talking about is Jared Goff. And he 100% deserves it because he was absolutely atrocious in that game. Like I'd have to go back and look up like not just stats, but try to maybe look up a little bit more. I haven't had a chance to do it. Like historically bad Super Bowl performances by a quarterback. I'm off the top right now. I'm thinking, the Patriots when they played the Green Bay Packers in the 90s, and I'm thinking going back to the 80s. It was who was it? It was Craig Morton, I think, was the quarterback for the Broncos when he gave up all those interceptions to the Cowboys in the 70s and stuff like that. Historically bad. Like it's up there. That's up there. And it's like he was so bad that you're past the point where you're upset at him, and it's like you're going so far down that how bad he was whole that it's like, damn, you just feel bad for him at this moment. Like you just feel bad because that's how poorly he played, and clearly the moment got to him. Clearly the moment of the pressure and of the moment of just everything got to him because he visibly looked lost and scared and just like deer in the headlights the entire game. Like he just looked like you could see it on his face through his helmet every time they showed him, and every time he went to the sideline and put that stupid fucking hat on. That's the first thing he did, was put the fucking hat on. He just looked like he wanted no part of this game, and it fucking translated onto the field. He had probably 2 good throws. There was the one good throw to Brandon Cooks on that up the seam on that one, and that's about it because everything else was just fucking dead ducks flying through the air. And he got bailed out a couple times by Woody. Shout out to Woody, who had a fucking great game, hell of a game, as good as a game as you could have. Robert Woods bailed him out on that catch on the sideline. And I'm trying to think of some other catch. Gerald Everett had a couple good catches. Josh Reynolds had a couple nice bailout catches. But other than that, that's about it, man. Brandon Cooks should have had 2 touchdowns. Brandon Cooks should have had that one. I'll give him where it was where he was wide open in the end zone, and Jason or Devin, I'm not sure which McCourty, Jason or Devin McCourty came flying all the way across. I just made a hell of a play to break that play up, but a better throw by Jared Goff, that's a touchdown. And you could also say the same thing for the other one where he threw it over the back corner where it was in Brandon Cooks' hands, but he throws that ball on a line more towards the back corner, away from the safety coming over the top. And yes, the ball was in Brandon Cooks' hands and he should have had it, but he had it and he just already had a guy on him, and then the safety came over the top and just whopped him. Like I said, a better throw over the top, aiming for that back pylon for the fastest fucking guy on the field, Brandon Cooks, gives him a better chance to go get that ball. So, and then like I said, it was just all around bad. And we can make excuses and talk about all we want, but like I said, we know what we saw. It was horrible. And just like I said, I know everyone just like I said, I just said, it's at the point where we just all feel bad for Jared Goff at this point. But he deserves just as much criticism, man, because clearly, like I said, Gurley wasn't right, and they knew it, and they were hiding it, which is a side note on that. I'm not even sure that's legal. That can't be legal. Like, if someone's hurt, like, don't they have to like put it on the injured list or whatever that thing is? So I'm not sure if there's going to be any repercussions from that. I really don't, but don't be surprised when it does come down. Um, and but like I said, if you know that Gurley's not, they had to have known that Gurley's not 100% because the game plan clearly showed it. They didn't use him as much as they could have and should have. If they knew, and they did know that Gurley's 100%, and even not even 100%, like he's 70, anything, whatever, and that they knew, you have to know. If I, just some random fucking Joe Schmo, sitting in front of his computer desk, just talking a bunch of shit, knows that the Patriots' game plan is always to take away what you do best, and it will make you choose your second or third option, or whatever is perceived as your second or third option is to beat you or to beat them. And they already have that advantage. They already know that they're going to take away the run game, which also sets up the play action game. That they, like I talked about it last week. That's what they do, and the Patriots are going to take that away, and you have to know that, and it's all on you. And like I said, it just got to him, and he has to be able to rise to the occasion, but he didn't, and it got to him. The moment was too big, and it fucking showed, man. It fucking showed, and it was just like I said, it was just really, really, really bad, like just all around bad, and it didn't help that, icing on the cake, freaking Greg the Leg, who's been money all year long, who was also probably playing a little hurt as well, missed that kick at the end. When it's like, why even do that? Just might as well just fucking throw up a Hail Mary, try something, and it's just tough, man. Really, really, really tough. Tough loss. And, hats fucking off to the defense. And Wade Phillips drew up a fucking hell of a game plan. Defense did all they could to stop the Pats, who were red hot, all playoffs long, and just freaking, contained Tom Brady. Zero touchdowns for Tom Brady, who's been fucking money in the Super Bowls. The last two Super Bowls. And it's just, man, really tough. Like I said, the defense did all they could. But I guess moving on to the Patriots now. Patriots, had the perfect, like I said, they had the perfect defense, perfect defensive game plan. The defense, and yes, the defense was good, but they really, really got bailed out by how bad the Rams' offense was. And like I said before, once they sniffed out that Gurley wasn't gonna be Gurley, they're like, all right. They just knew, just the sharks smelling blood in the water, and they knew they had this game in the bag. And you could just kind of tell, like once they realized, okay, like Gurley's not Gurley, the defense, like they just had all that momentum and all that confidence to be able to blitz. Like Van Noy was blitzing well, Dante Hightower was blitzing well. They knew that they could stack the box like that and bring more or show like they're blitzing and all that stuff. They got them. They had it, and they knew they had it in the bag. And it was just, oh man, they just knew. They just fucking knew. And as if they needed any more help, that was the big thing for them. And then, like I said, the offense, their offense was held, was contained, was relatively contained to a below mediocre, but the Patriots offense did literally just enough to get the job done. They really did. Edelman was obviously great. Super Bowl MVP, Julian Edelman. How many yards did he have? I'm going to see. Whatever it was, let me see. He had freaking 141 yards on 10 catches. No touchdowns, but it didn't really matter. Like I said, it's like a Super Bowl MVP. He was great. Gronk did Gronk things at the right times. Just another freaking clutch-ass catch to set him up for the Sony Michel touchdown inside the 5, where I don't know how many guys make it. Maybe Travis Kelce does that. And I can't even think who else would do that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. That's about it. That's about it. It's Gronk and Kelce are the only two guys that can make that catch. And Sony Michel, like I said, with the touchdown. But Rex Burkhead and him just had big runs at the biggest moments. When they needed 3 yards, they got 4, kind of thing. And so just, yeah, they just did enough. They did just enough. And that's another thing. Biggest constant for them, as average and mediocre as they looked, best thing for them was the offensive line, who isn't getting a lot of credit for playing as well as they did. Not just in the Super Bowl and not just all playoffs long, but they did about as good of a freaking job as you can do against the Rams defensive line, against Aaron Donald, against Ndamukong Suh, against Michael Brockers, all those guys. They did about as good a job as you can do against the Rams defensive line. And like I said, I don't hear them getting enough credit as they should get. And I'm going to be the one that's going to do it for them. Because like I said, even though it sucks that they beat the Rams, the hometown team, like I said, they played their asses off and they did what they did. They did a good job. And just congrats to the Pats, I guess. I freaking guess. But yeah, just really, really, really tough loss for the Rams, man. And, anytime, and even when you lose, it always sucks, but you always try to take something from it, You try to, what can we learn from this? How can we grow from this? And honestly, I don't know what they take away from this loss. Other than just literally like telling those guys, remember this feeling, remember how shitty this feels, and work your ass off in the offseason even harder, which is even that is like not something you can take away, because it's just it all came down to their best player just not being 100%. And it's like, what can you, it's not like I said, it's not like he left. It's not like it was literally the best opportunity was taken away from them in a shitty way. And it's like, it just fucking sucks, man. And it really sucks was because this team, the Rams, I'm not going to go too long on this, but the Rams were really, really built to win it all this year. The way that their team and their roster was constructed, going all in on acquiring these contracts for these guys who are going to be free agents next year or the year after this offseason or after next season, and they're gonna have to cut bait on a couple of these guys. They already extended Aaron Donald, deserved it. They already extended Todd Gurley, who deserved it. Now they're gonna have to extend Jared Goff, who hasn't been gangbusters all year long, but has always done the job, and then played very well and exceeded that expectations in the NFC Championship game, but just fell off the face of the earth this game. And they're gonna have to extend him, and so they're gonna figure out what to do with him. I think they got to figure out what to do with Ndamukong Suh. A lot of the guys on the defense they're gonna have to figure out what to do with, and like I said, it's just a lot of questions for the Rams this offseason. So we're gonna have to really wait and see. And like I said, hopefully, like I said, they get the answers that they want. And but yeah, just tough loss. It's gonna be a long offseason for the Rams, but like I said, the best thing is just remember how shitty this feels, and do whatever it takes to not relive that feeling. That's the best thing I can say for that. But that's not it from the NFL. A couple other things. The NFL awards were handed out this past weekend. Not sure who watched it. I didn't even know that it was on TV this weekend, but it was on. And just going to go through the list of the winners. MVP and Offensive Player of the Year to Patrick Mahomes. Pretty obvious there. Like I said, just hell of a season. You guys know how well he did. Everyone was pretty sure that's how it was going to go. Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald, like I said, also just as deserving. 20.5 sacks as a nose guard, and just easily the most dominant player on the field any game that he's in. And like I said, very well deserved for Aaron Donald. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Saquon Barkley. It was going to be close between Saquon Barkley and Baker Mayfield, but I'm pretty sure everyone thought it was going to be Saquon Barkley, just how freaking well he played in the time that he was in, because I think all of the Giants fans wish he played a little bit more. But like I said, it is what it is. Then we had who was it? Defensive Rookie of the Year, Darius Leonard, the standout linebacker for the Colts, taking home Defensive Rookie of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year for both Pro Football Writers of America and AP. Andrew Luck, very obviously, just a lot of concerns about how he was going to come back after the shoulder injury on his throwing shoulder of all shoulders, and came out, lit it up this year, did well. Colts, should be excited about their future, considering all things considered. Andrew Luck looked great. Their offensive line looks much better. They have a lot more pieces on offense and defense. Like I said, Darius Leonard, Andrew Luck, 2 winners of the awards. And so, like I said, they should look like a team to be reckoned with in the AFC. And then the final one, arguably the most important one, Chris Long winning Walter Payton Man of the Year for his contributions in the community outside of football and off the field. So congrats to all the winners there. And some more congrats are in order for this year's Hall of Fame class for the NFL. And I know I said this before in episodes, but it's getting crazy where I'm getting at that point where these are guys that I watched play and guys that I vividly remember, like every Sunday, studying them, watching them play, trying to learn from them, and just not idolizing them, but just loving to watch these guys play, and seeing them get inducted to the Hall of Fame now makes me really feel fucking old now. Getting fucking old now. But yeah, the 2019 Hall of Fame class for the NFL, for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it's going to be Champ Bailey, Tony Gonzalez, Ty Law, Ed Reed, Kevin Mawai, and 3 other guys I've never heard of. Pat Bowlen. Oh, I know Pat Bowlen is a front office guy. Gil Brandt, another front office guy. And then Johnny Robinson. I guess he's like some old guy who played in the 1960s or whatever. But all those guys, man, just fucking legends. And it's just, and 3 of them were first ballot. And it was pretty obvious when you watched them play. You knew they were going to be first ballot. Tony Gonzalez, arguably, he's one of, and arguably the greatest tight end of all time. Completely revolutionized the position. The first real success story of a crossover athlete, played hoops most of his life and just realized that, hey, let's use his basketball skills to be a great tight end. And, grabbing rebounds. He did the dunk celebration. He was the guy to do that. But Tony Gonzalez, like I said, as a former tight end myself, loved watching Tony Gonzalez and just make incredible plays. And like I said, he wasn't just a great receiver, but also could stay in there and block with the best of them. Ed Reed and Champ Bailey, 2 of the best ever to do it at their positions. Champ Bailey, cornerback. I believe the story goes if John Madden could make... Before they did the 100 ratings, they used to not do 100 ratings in Madden. They would always, usually John Madden would get the final say on them, and he would always say he wouldn't do hundreds, but if he could do 100 on something, he would make it for Champ Bailey's speed, because he was that good at covering guys. And one of those things where, like, he's one of those guys where if you look at his numbers, he doesn't get a lot of interceptions most of the time per se, or he's not always a league leader in interceptions at some points in his career. That's because they don't throw it to him. They don't throw the ball on his side anymore. So just a true definition of a shutdown corner. Ed Reed, one of the best ever ball hawking safeties, just nonstop. Just go, and all these guys, just go watch their highlights on YouTube. Guarantee you they are there. And Ed Reed, just a dominating safety in coverage, coming up and stopping the run. You couldn't get anything by him, and was definitely one of the most forces to be reckoned with in the safety. And anytime you're coming across the middle, you're going to have to see him. So, and then obviously Ty Law, great cornerback for the Patriots, had the iconic NFL film shot of them when he got the pick 6 in their the Patriots' first Super Bowl win. Kevin Mawai, just a great offensive lineman in his time when he played. I think he was also head of the Players Union as well, so there's that. And like I said, just all these guys deserving. And like I said, it's just crazy to see these guys just going to the Hall of Fame. Like I said, guys that I watched play, man. I watched all these guys play. And I love watching these dudes play on Sundays. So congrats to all of them. And congrats again to the award winners. And I guess congrats to to the Patriots. But moving on now to the Lakers, where things aren't looking, things still aren't looking as that great. This AD trade stuff is just getting freaking crazy now. You know, first it comes out he wants to go to the Lakers, but now he doesn't want to go to the Lakers. He did a little interview where he talked about not wanting to go to the Lakers now, and it's just like, what the hell is going on? And this is all coming off the back of Woj, handing out or saying that the first trade proposal was a freaking huge haul. He said it was going to, per Woj, the trade proposal that they've made to the Pelicans is Lonzo, Kuzma, Rondo, Beasley, and a future first-round pick. Now, they don't say that if they're getting anything else other than just AD, which is, I hope they do, because I'm not sure that they're going to have a team by the time they're done with these trades. But, you know, it's just getting crazy, man. And I've been talking about this with people I know and stuff, but this is a huge problem for the NBA right now that they are definitely going to address going into this offseason, and they definitely need to address before the CBA expires, I think, in a couple seasons, and they do not want to go to a lockout because that would just make everything look really, really bad. You know, this AD stuff paired with everything that happened with Jimmy Butler at the beginning of the season, paired with all the stuff that's happening with Kyrie right now. Like I said, this is a huge problem for the NBA right now that they do not want us talking about, because it's just chaos right now. And yes, it is entertaining in a way. Like it's always cool when NBA Twitter lights up and stuff like that, when, you know, when there's a Woj bomb or a Shams bomb or whatever the hell is going on. But this is a problem, and it's just like I said, there was going to be a cloud hanging over the team, and has nothing to do with what's going on the court. And that's the biggest problem. That's what like I said, NBA likes all this stuff, but at the same time, at the end of the day, the product on the court is what's getting the bills paid and stuff. Is what's making them all the money. And when people aren't really paying attention to what's happening on the court, that's a big problem. And it's just, like I said, it's just getting fucking crazy now. And, you know, it's only more people are gonna be doing it. More high profile guys are gonna be doing it, whether it's this off season or next season or whatever, with the whole pre-agency thing and all that. And it's getting out of hand, and it's getting out of hand very, very fast. And like I said, I mentioned sticking with the Lakers. You know, that's a lot to offer. And apparently there's a rumor that happened that I just saw like before I started recording, where they've made another offer that's even bigger, and that'll help relieve some salary cap space for the Pelicans and stuff too. So I don't know what it is yet. It hasn't been released or anything, but it's just, like I said, this is getting pretty nuts. And there's only a few days left. The trade deadline ends on Thursday at 12 Western or Pacific Coast time. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I don't know, and like I mentioned before about the cloud hanging over the team, it's clearly getting to them, because on top of all this, it came out that after the game, after their loss on Saturday to the Warriors, there was a heated debate and a heated argument between the players and Luke Walton. Specifically involving JaVale McGee and Michael Beasley. Now, you read into it, depending on where you read from and who you're asking stuff. It seems like it's more of a headline grabber, and it's just like a regular kind of thing where Luke Walton, you know, the coach is upset at the players for how they're playing. Players take a little offense to it, and it's just it happens. You know what I mean? The things, you know, it's a team, and it's just emotions are riding high after a loss. And like I said, it's probably all these trade rumors and stuff on top of that aren't adding to the situation, and they're only adding to the not real necessarily sense of paranoia, but just the whole negative vibes and negative feelings and stuff. It just happened, and it came out, and you know, you talk to certain people, they say it was crazy, and it was like like they're trying to, it felt like a mutiny type of thing. You read other things saying that it was a little bit blown out of proportion, and it was just a regular argument that teams have behind the scenes and stuff. But like I said, it's just getting crazy. Things are just like, you know, it's a lot of he said, she said, and you know, like I said, the trade deadline is this Thursday. So we're gonna have to wait and see if the Lakers get Anthony Davis or not by then, and whether or not they get him, we'll have to see who else is on the team or not. Like I said, we could have, and also, like I said, the trade deadline is this Thursday, but the All-Star weekend is next weekend. And the Lakers have a little bit of a road trip they're going on for the next week and a half or so. Who knows how this team is going to look? I mentioned it in the last episode. They're going on this road trip. Their bags are already going to be packed. Put it that way. So, like I said, it's we're going to have to wait and see. They're playing in, I think, Indiana tomorrow. And then on the trade deadline, Indiana tomorrow. And on Thursday, before Thursday's game is when the trade deadline expires. But on Thursday is when they play the Lakers. It's going to be probably a marquee matchup. And just a lot of implications in that game. I know, like I said, the Kyrie thing, there's a lot of the rumors that he said not rumors, but he said he's entertained the idea of linking up with LeBron again, whether it's now or down the road, who knows. But it's a lot of crazy shit, like things being said like that, we're making people's heads spin. And it's going to be crazy. It's going to be really, really crazy. Like I said, and not just the Lakers and the Pelicans, but a lot of other teams could be looking very, very different by the end of this week. And, this is going to be a much, much needed All-Star break for, like I said, not just the Lakers, not just for the Clippers, who look like they need to figure some things out as well, but for all these teams. It's just been a pretty hectic, chaotic, definitely the longest first half to a season. I know it's already past the halfway point, but we all know that the All-Star break and the All-Star game is the unofficial halfway point of the season. So if you factor in the postseason, the playoffs and all that. So a much, much needed break from the All-Star during the All-Star break. So, like I said, we'll just have to see how these teams look before that. But speaking of the All-Star break, All-Star game is, like I said, in a couple weeks. And end of last week, the NBA All-Star rosters were announced. Now, not the teams, because as we all know, they do the draft thing now, and not only is the trade deadline on Thursday, but the draft, where the team captains, who are LeBron James on one side and Giannis on the other, those on the other team LeBron coached by Mike Malone, Team Giannis coached by Mike Budenholzer, they're going to draft the players who have been selected. Now, if you're not unfamiliar with the way the format works, there are all-star starters who are selected, and so those guys who, no matter what team they get picked on, I think they get picked first, if I believe. They get their first picks of the litter, and then after that, then everyone else gets picked. But Team LeBron, Team Giannis, they draft the different players that they draft from the starters, and then there's the reserves that are announced as well that they choose from. And like I said, this year it is going to be televised, I believe, on ESPN. So let's see who Team LeBron and Team Giannis can pick from. Like I said, obviously, LeBron and Giannis are on the team. They're the team captains. The other starters, they don't really do it by East and West anymore. I mean, they do pick an even amount of players from the East and an even amount of players from the West. But as far as being on the teams, I believe it does not matter how many guys from the East or how many guys from the West you have. But the guys from the West who were picked, LeBron, Steph Curry, obviously, Kevin Durant, obviously, James Harden, very obviously, and Paul George, who has been playing very, very well this year. And then in the East, Giannis again, obviously. Then you've got Joel Embiid, very well. Kyrie, who played very well. Kawhi Leonard and Kemba Walker. Like I said, all these guys very much so deserving of the All-Star starters. I know Kemba's been falling off a little bit, but definitely he deserved, or he's riding the momentum from his very early part of the season where he was just playing his ass off. But the reserves, let's go through the reserves. I'm just going to read them in order. I think they're listed alphabetically here on NBA.com. You got LaMarcus Aldridge, deserving. Bradley Beal, deserving. Anthony Davis, very much so deserving. Blake Griffin, who's been playing. Just like quickly, shout out to Blake Griffin. We miss him a lot here in LA. Miss seeing him on the court. Miss seeing him out at Shore Bar. Miss having Blake on the team, and hopefully he can come back in some capacity down the road, because he'd be great to have. And he, not only that, he has just completely transformed his game, and he is playing the best basketball he's played since probably 2015, when he was he was easily an MVP candidate and one of the best players in the playoffs that year. But just shouts to Blake for playing well. He's also in it. Jokic is in it, the Joker, very much so deserving, just fucking killing it right now. Dame Lillard, it's always Dame time. Kyle Lowry, I guess. Chris Middleton, sure. It feels like, I know this is the one that's like kind of a little up in the air, for sure. It feels like he's benefiting from Giannis' success and the fact that Mike Budenholzer is one of the coaches, but he's an all-star nonetheless. Dirk Nowitzki, Victor Oladipo, who deserves to make the team, had that terrible injury that is going to sideline him for the rest of the season. He's been replaced by D'Angelo Russell. Shout out to D'Lo, another player that we miss here in LA. Yes, it helped us get LeBron, but damn it, we can still miss him. We miss D'Lo. We miss the ice in my veins, and it's always time for some loading. So good to see damn D'Lo in the All-Star game, deserving it this year, playing his ass off. Ben Simmons deserved it. Klay Thompson, of course. Karl Anthony Towns playing well. Yeah, sure, he got a little bit of flack, but if you go by the numbers, he's playing very well this year. Vucevic, another first-timer. Just the I guess the surprise story, because if you're a fantasy owner of Vucevic, you know that he puts up numbers like this a lot. But this year he's just looking like freaking George Mikan or Bill Russell. You know what I mean? It's the way he's dominating against all these guys this year and putting up big numbers. Then Dwayne Wade and Russell Westbrook, and I think Dwayne Wade and Dirk are just like they're like a special category where like they're, I don't know if they call it a senior edition or something, or like veteran edition, but like they're adding those guys. They're giving them just giving them an automatic bid or something for like just giving them their big ups. Because I think, well, we all know D Wade's retiring after this season, but I think pretty sure it seems like Dirk is going to retire after this season, especially after getting Porzingis. Looks like he can pass the torch a little bit there. But so these are the guys, and these are the players that LeBron and Giannis are going to be choosing from. Now, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to go here and say who I think is going to get picked or whatever. I can't get in their heads, and it doesn't matter. But either way, this is a good collection of talent. It looks like it should be a good game. But anytime players make an all-star team or anything like this, there's always going to be people yelling, atop the mountain, on Twitter, Reddit, message boards, all that stuff, about who got snubbed. And the biggest one, obviously, is Luka. Now, I truly think that Luka Doncic should be making the All-Star team. He's been playing very well. I believe he should make it over Chris Middleton. It just, unfortunately, it works out that Luka's in the West, Middleton's in the East. Has been even amount of East to West guys. That's just the way it goes sometimes. If I had to choose somebody to get rid of out of the West in order to make room for Luka, I would probably take out LaMarcus Aldridge. If you want to play that Luka's actually a forward, not a guard kind of argument, sure. There's that. Rudy Gobert made a lot of news because for not making it. I know there was the whole thing where he was crying and people were giving him shit for that and stuff like that. But listen, the man's emotional. It happens. I'm an emotional man as well. I feel him. It was just that he talked about how his mom called him crying, and it just got him in his feels, and it happens. So if you're out here judging him, check your toxic masculinity at the fucking door. Get the fuck out of here. It's 2019. We don't need that shit anymore. So Rudy Gobert, we're with you, man. But I don't. But as far as deserving to be an all-star, I don't know. Who else got snubbed? People are saying Tobias Harris got snubbed. He is playing very well. I will admit, as a Clipper fan and as a guy that's been watching a lot of Clipper games as well, Tobias Harris has been playing very well. It's just, again, him, Luka, just guys that they just follow the same. They're following the same category. They just suffer from being in the West because the West is very, very good this year. People are arguing maybe Klay Thompson shouldn't have made it, considering he's having not a typical Klay kind of year and shooting a lot worse than he's been shooting in the past. Arguably, he could make it. He could not make it. It feels like this is a you're on the Warriors, so come on down, come on over kind of pick. But it is what it is. And it's it's just like I said, at this point it is what it is. And then, like I said, it'll hopefully, like I said, you've seen some stuff on Twitter. Lou Williams tried to hype up Tobias Harris, saying, "Hey, prove him wrong." Rudy Gobert is obviously fired up about it. Luka probably is too a little bit. Like I said, just all they can do is use it to show everybody why they deserve to be in the All-Star team going forward. So, and especially when all these guys are on potential playoff teams. And so, like I said, if they can help make some noise, it'll help boost their stock up a bit. Maybe get them into it next year and stuff. So, yeah, those are the players who are going to be in the All-Star game in a couple of weeks. And like I said, I am very excited to see it. I am kind of not falling on the way out as much as I am like on the Pro Bowl, but just All-Star games in general seem to have lost a little bit of their luster over the years. And it's just because I think it's just because, like I said, so many guys, because the idea was always, man, what would it be like if we got to see all the best players play on the same team together for one game? Wow, what would that look like? Well, now with these players picking where they want to go and stuff like that more, and having more autonomy on where they choose to play and stuff, we're kind of getting to see that with these, I hate this term, but just the super team phenomenon that's been happening lately. We're seeing it more now. Obviously with the Warriors, seeing with the Lakers in the past, Celtics, Heat obviously was the original one, I guess you could say, even though technically the Celtics were. Like I said, so it's losing a little bit of its luster. It's become just a glorified pickup game. These scores are outrageous, and I just think that they should. I really think the thing that they should be working towards is who's going to be the first team to score 200 points in a game, because none of these guys want to get hurt playing defense or anything, unless it's getting close and in the last couple of minutes or anything like that. But it's like I said, it should still be fun. All the festivities, whatever, the dunk contest is the dunk contest. Most of the dunks have been done before. It doesn't seem like we're going to get the matchup we got a couple years ago between Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon anytime soon. I don't really see anything, anyone, except for possibly next year with Zion coming in. I don't know. I don't know. It's just it feels like the 3-point contest has surpassed the dunk contest has the most exciting festivity other than the All-Star game. And this year's no joke, this year's no different. I think, let me pull it. I know both Curry brothers are going to be in it. I forget. I'll look it up later. Well, I'll talk about it more when it gets closer to All-Star week, probably next week sometime, and make my predictions and all that stuff then. Because I've talked enough now. Talked your guys' ears off for long enough. And like I said, that should do it for me today. Thank you guys as always for listening. Really appreciate it. And like always, if you like what you heard, subscribe, like, share, comment, all that YouTuber bullshit. Do all of it though. It really helps out. And like I said, just subscribe wherever you can, wherever you listen to podcasts and all that good stuff. SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube. I know I don't have music on this stuff yet. I know I'm working on it, and I'm working on getting a Mixcloud account set up so we can get all that going. And if you also want to follow along on the socials, you can. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, all that stuff. Brown Mamba Radio, Brown Mamba, or my personal stuff, JXCKSXNNN. And again, normally I would say everything is all on the site, but again, it's still under construction. Stay tuned for that this month. It is coming, and it is going to be revamped, reworked, and a little bit different, but still, you'll be able to find everything there. And yeah, just again, thank you guys all for showing love and supporting like always. Really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully you guys made some money at least on the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people didn't, so at least there's that. Hopefully you made some money off that. Hopefully you guys are staying dry out there if you're here in the Southern California area, mainly the LA area. Hopefully you can stay dry. And again, like I said earlier, please drive safe as well. It's just a little bit of rain. It's not that bad. And yeah, that is going to do it for me. And like always, everybody, don't just have a good week. Make it a good week. Please drink more water. Health is wealth. Please, please, please be kind to each other, because it's easy to be nice. And hopefully we can do it next year with the Rams. But now we can focus all of our energy and attention on the Lakers and what they're going to do with the trade deadline. And also, it's time to look forward to baseball season. Baseball season's around the corner. So hopefully our Dodgers can bring one home this year finally. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.